Right. Look at me. All right. I got no idea how well this is going to work. Um, and I don't even know if anyone is watching this right now. Where is the? There you go. And I'll give it a few minutes. I'm gonna turn off my audio. I'm just gonna stretch for a minute. I'm gonna spare everybody that. No idea if anybody's actually watching or not. I don't know if I trust 10 views. Okay. Anyway, I'll get going. If anybody's here, feel free to ask questions, I guess. All right. So this is probably going to be like really stupid and super cringy, but I needed some sort of excuse to get back and working out at 46, and I was like, all right, I'll try to do some sort of gimmicky prompt engineering AI stuff while I'm working out. So I guess the goal today is a couple things. Number one, I need to reestablish my baselines on my lifts. I primarily make my workouts around three primary lifts, but I may incorporate one or two as secondary lifts. And my three primaries are the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. Back almost 7 years now, I was doing really intense powerlifting. In fact, this is my gym here. I built it at my house. I have this is a Rogue power rack, but I don't have the newer Rogue equipment. If people are familiar with Rogue, the creator of home fitness equipment, I built all this pre-COVID too. But this is, I think, the Echo rack. The Monster line of equipment is what they have now primarily, and the big difference is the gauge on these beams is wider. So most of the new things that Rogue puts out, my rack is incompatible with. And anybody that's built a home gym knows that half of building a home gym is just being addicted to buying a shit ton of equipment that you probably don't need or use. And to that point, I'm going to show you probably the most expensive purchase for the least amount of use I've ever had in my life, which is right here. All these dumbbells. They're super high quality Ivanko dumbbells. I mean, these are not cheap, and the highest weight I have is I think is 100. And I was legitimately doing a lot of dumbbell lifts when I bought them, but um, uh, if I remember correctly, I think the motivation to move away from them was I started working with an online trainer. I was using the uh, what was it? The barbell medicine. I think that's the online trainer I was using. One of their coaches is like remote training, all with spreadsheets. And at one point during the training, they moved over to a really bad app. Like they were trying to push everyone into their app. Uh, it was bad. And I think as a software developer, I kind of probably overreacted to how bad it was because I just refused to use it. I told the trainer, I said, like, I much prefer to use the spreadsheets than this app. So we continued on the spreadsheets. The nice thing is I have access to all that training data. Um, Something I would like to try is probably having an LLM scan and analyze the training data to look for trends and kind of maybe develop a model where or an algorithm to know based upon my progressions week to week what the next week's goals should be. I found that training that I did with the online trainer to be pretty good. I actually reached my goal was before I turned 40 was to do 1,000 pounds between a combination one lift, one rep max between deadlift, squat, and bench. It's kind of a general strength goal. I feel like for a lot of people. And what was really challenging for me is my squat sucks. I'm tall. I'm 6'3". I think a lot of tall people in general struggle with the squat. Having that much weight on your back sucks. It can be dangerous. It can be scary at times. My one rep max that I got up to was 375, and I do low bar squats. So low bar squat difference is high bar squat. You have it up here. Low bar squat you put a little bit further down, and it really depends upon what's best for you mechanically in terms of like where you're driving straight up. And for me, it works best with a low bar squat. Now I'm going to do some bar squats today, but I actually bought I've had a hip squat belt, and I bought the attachment for it about three months ago, and I may set that up in the future just because I especially when the weight starts getting up there on the squat, like something that I think a lot of people will uh, experience if they're lifting is lifting and getting into the gym, whatever your schedule is, whether it's every day or a few times a week, the consistency is the grind and it's a mental game. It is really easy to convince yourself not to get into the gym, like super, super easy. It's unbelievable how your mind will come up with excuses. "Hey, I'll do it later on today. Oh, I'm too tired now. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll make up for it." And before you know it, you've lost a couple of days turn to weeks, etc. And for me, I'm kind of I don't know if what the right term for it is, but I tend to have this. I have this tendency where if I am breaking my consistency in something, I tend to just let it all go, and it's hard to. Um, it's almost like, oh, what am I putting in a day or two here and there for? What's the point? And these are just like the mental games that your brain plays on you when things in the gym are really, really hard or potentially on the edge of like being dangerous unless you have like really, really good form. And for me, that's the squat. So I may go hip belt squats simply to avoid that situation again. And I'm really curious to see how that turns out. Um, oh, there is no video. Oh, sorry. All right. How do I? Why is the video? Wait. How come the video's not working? I thought I saw the video. Wait. No, there's video. You check on YouTube. Wait. Yeah, there's video. So maybe you meant just because you're in your car. I don't know. Um, yeah, there's video. Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna. Um, I may. I mean, for today, just to establish a baseline, I'm gonna go with the bar squat, and I'm just gonna kind of get up to where I feel comfortable with roughly a 1 rep max. I'm not gonna like really go for 1 rep max today, but I just need to reestablish where I'm at. Now, I haven't lifted seriously in maybe a year and a half. And then I had been lifting for maybe 6 or 7 months and a 2 year break before that. After I hit the 1,000 pounds when I turned 40, I then was going to go for the next goal, which was 5-4-3-2. That's 5 plates on each side for deadlift, 4 plates on each side for squat, 3 plates on each side for bench, and then 2 plates for overhead press. I just started getting injured a lot. I think at the time too, um, it was. I think it just had a lot like happening, and I just wasn't really super committed to it. Getting to that 1,000 pounds on the three primary lifts was something I've been working for quite some time. And once you kind of reach that goal, I was just like, good, I can put that behind. Maybe I didn't say that to myself, but I kind of thought it, and that's the reason why I ended up ditching the other goal. The other thing too is, in order to power lift properly, I mean, lifting is 1/3 of it. The other third is rest, which I am really bad at. I don't get enough sleep. Um, just normally, I think that's just the way I've always been. And then number three is your diet, and they're all. I don't need to say number three. It's just like number one, number one, number one. They're all equal in terms of getting the most out of your performance. Sorry, most out of your workouts. Um, I was eating my way to success, and so what that ends up doing is you end up taking on a lot of body fat when you're doing that. Um, I think I had a DEXA scan. Uh, I think around the time of the 1,000 pounds, and I was like 22% body fat. I'm probably higher now just because I've been sitting around and just prompt engineering, prompt for months now. Um, I do ruck. I carry a 60-pound pack. I go a couple miles a few days a week. Although recently it's been like 20 degrees in the Boston area, so that's been not fun to get out into. Again, convincing myself not to. Anyway, all that to say, I need to use this gym that I built. It's a good kind of waste of space otherwise. Um, and maybe during this, if I continue it, others might want to join the gym, or feel free to ask questions. I'm not gonna. I'm not a trainer. I did this for many years, and so I have some knowledge on stuff. I have some opinions on stuff, but there are people out there that know a lot more than me. Um, the kind of fun of training, of physical training, though, I've always found is that in many ways I kind of likened it a bit to it. I don't know if it's. I don't want to say martial art, but it's more like there's a form to there's a like form and perfection to it that you really have to master, because you can have the same weight on a bar and the same person, and if they're lifting it two different ways, they're going to be able to move that weight far more easily one way versus the other. And it's all about efficiency, and it's all about getting your form right, ensuring that the bar line is following as straight a line as possible when necessary, that you are loading up your body properly, that you're recovering properly, all that stuff. But it's a lot of work too. Like when I was when I was doing all that, I was probably in here for sometimes 2 to 3 hours a day, and eating meals that my family wasn't eating, and that way it can be a bit isolating. So let's see if doing this, as opposed to what I was doing before, is going to be better. So what we're gonna start with though is we're gonna try to do like build out an application and see if I can build out a simple application that's functional, that meets the goals of what we're building within the time frame of the workout here. And so I think we'll probably get the workout somewhere. Maybe this will be about an hour. We'll see. We'll see how long my battery lasts. I could probably get a power. I should probably put a power recording here. But the application here we're going to build is, if you bump this up, calling it Buff. And in the theme of working out, it's going to be a little kind of workout tracking application. So my development environment has drastically shifted. I don't say drastically. I say somewhat shifted over the past week. It has drastically shifted over the past year, moving from I'd say, traditional coder, almost exclusively over to agentic coding. About 5 months ago, I just decided I had to throw myself into it, and I've really liked it. I've kind of held myself back from directly coding, and I think part of the reason why I've been able to do that is I shifted away from my primary language at the time, which was Elixir, over to Zig. And there are reasons why I wanted to adopt Zig, and one of them was the project that I've been building for quite some time. It just wasn't working well in Elixir, and mostly because Elixir is simply just not a systems level programming language. The portability of Elixir is, it's just not there. And these are more Erlang issues than Elixir issues. But, it's a browser that we were building. And I built out these libraries that got quite far. GenDOM is a Gen server-based DOM implementation. We were using, I forget the name of the library now, but there was a library in Elixir that allowed you to basically set up the FFI layer with a JavaScript runtime, and we were building out bindings in Rust to communicate from Elixir over to that JavaScript layer, and then they communicate back to our DOM. And if this all sounds like it's a bad idea, it probably was. But it was an interesting experiment, and I pushed my Elixir knowledge kind of to the limit during that, because it really pushed the limits of what Elixir is really meant for, I feel like, as well. Because one of the things that, if you have a Gen server-based DOM, each node in the DOM is its own process, but then there's process limits in Elixir. It worked really well for the event system. I think I knocked out the event system and things like workers, message passing between workers. I knocked all that out in the DOM within probably less than a week. And compared to what I've been doing in Zig, even with the coding agent, because that stuff is not part of the language where it is with Elixir and Erlang, it's been significantly more time to get that done, but that's all working now. So maybe in the future I'll be in a position to start showing off that code directly. Anyway, this application, we're going to use Claude Code, and I would personally prefer to use OpenCode, but because of all the drama over the past week, Anthropic has shut that down. I have found, though, that Claude Code has areas where it's better than OpenCode, and there's areas where OpenCode is better than Claude Code. And that's to be expected, right? I would be surprised if a small startup, even though they have funding, but a small startup like Anomaly just was running circles around Claude Code for everything. And Claude Code, that team being, tight against the metal of the model itself, presumably they have access to data analytics, and the developers of the model directly in order to improve their harness. So, but regardless, I'm using the pro plan, so we're going to use Claude. Okay. All right. So this is a like empty directory, right? There's nothing in it. We're going to start from scratch. All right. So we're going to we're going to plan this out. Great. My email address is there. I think I saw this on Theo's thing one time, but all right. My email address is on, I think it's on my GitHub, so I don't really care. All right, so we're gonna plan. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna plan out what we want to build, and I don't have any opinion right now on what stack I want to build it in. I'm just gonna say where I want to use it, and my guess is that it's gonna choose React like that by default, but we'll see here. All right, so we are going to build a workout application. I want it to be available on the available web and on mobile all devices. This will require us to have a backend server and a client. Let's see here. How best to describe this? The workout app will be for tracking purposes and eventually workout programming purposes. By the way, that term programming, it's used quite a bit in the world of lifting, and there's a lot of like really dumb fuck lifters that hate the word programming because they feel like it makes them a nerd. Like, oh, programming, like shut the fuck up. You'll see it. If I got like really into the like the lifting influencers during my stint in powerlifting, and you'll come across it from time to time. Perhaps it's faded away in the past few years, but yeah, there was a period of time where they like a lot of these like roided up idiots were just bitching about the term programming. The workout app will be for tracking purposes and eventually workout programming purposes. So if I continue to build this out, what would be really cool, as I mentioned earlier, is getting my historic training data from when I did the powerlifting, analyzing that to see if there are trends or algorithms that can be derived from it to help create like my workout program for each week as I go, or perhaps ingesting some papers on training and coming up with something unique there. I think too, having something where I can like load in all the different equipment that I have and all the weights that I have, and then perhaps see if a model can come up with like kind of fun exercises, because that's another thing that happens when you're really training hard and you get into the rut of just like the same exercises every single day. That just is like it's kind of hiking. But even that, I have a marsh near my house. It's like 2.5 miles to go around. I've gotten bored of that. I found started to explore other paths, and so I think keeping it fresh is going to be something I want to see if I can get into this app eventually. Let's see here. Okay, so for V1, I just want to be able to enter the lift type, weight, reps, and number of sets along with RPE, rate of perceived exertion. Am I spelling exertion correctly? I don't know. So RPE is it's a metric that if you let's say you're doing like the most common one is 3 sets of 10, right? And you're benching, I don't know, 185, and you get the first, you do the first set, you're fresh, and there's that. Okay, so RPE allows you to basically say how difficult was this set, and then based upon your RPE, based upon what you've done, you're supposed to be able to calculate the following week whether or not you repeat that weight. You may want to drop down or you may go up. And sometimes, as you are like when you're trying to progress towards a goal while lifting, dropping down in weight is an effective strategy, like quite a bit. Um, when I was going for the 1,000 pounds, I was dropping weight and coming back up multiple times, and a lot of it has to do with perhaps the mental game. Like, oh, this week is going to be a lighter week, and so that's going to be easier for me to push through. Just being able to compare, like, well, last time I was at this weight, the RPE was this, and now it's this. And so you're seeing the progression of how much easier that lighter weight was compared to the last time you used those weights. Um, but the issue is that RPE is kind of uh, there's different definitions of RPE out there, is the problem. And so I think part of this is going to be um, we want to define what our RPE is and have a consistent formula for it along. Uh, okay. I think what I'll do too is when we're maybe I'll do it right now, but I'd like to use the visual layout generator on Gemini and see if we can get some good. Um, Maybe we'll wait till later. Well, we'll wait until we actually have like the skeleton of the application up and running and see what it looks like, see what Claude gives us in the first place. But I've seen some good designs come out of that visual layout generator. Okay, so something I like to do is have the LLM interview me as it is trying to build out its understanding of what we want to build. So I'll say something like this. I want you to ask me one question question at a time um, until you know exactly what to build. If I do not answer a question to your satisfaction, uh, continue to probe, but only ask one question at a time. Once you have a very strong sense on what to build, present me with your implementation plan for approval. One thing I want to do too is we're going to do a BD init. So I use beads, um, set up and complete. What's, do I not approve date? Have I not updated beads in a while? Why is it saying the legacy database? It's not that far off. Yes. Um, Maybe because there's no get. Um, Maybe that's why. I'll just do this. All right. So what beads is it's just like a long term memory store. It uses SQLite, and it will track and create issues, and it's just a way for you to kind of have the agent refer back to something that is like stored on disk for stuff. Let's see what happens now. Why is it that when I started for the surf, shouldn't it do this automatically? It's fine. All right, whatever. It's there. Um, I actually do not know if Claude So what's here now? So if I do this now, okay. Oh, God damn it. See here. There we go. I actually do like this part about Claude is that with Control G, you can jump into a Vim session. I find that to be way superior to the input of OpenCode. I wish they added that. Okay, so we are going to build a workout application. I want it to be available on the web and on mobile devices. This will require us to have a backend server and a client. The workout app will be for tracking purposes and eventually workout programming purposes. For V1, I just want to be able to enter the lift, type, weight, reps, and number of sets along with RPE. We want to define what our RP is and have a consistent formula for it. I want you to ask me one question at a time until you know exactly what to build. If I do not answer a question to your satisfaction, continue to probe, but only ask one question at a time. Once you have a very strong sense of what to build, bold, present me with your implementation plan for approval. I have this theory that mistakes cost you tokens with the LLM, like spelling mistakes. No idea if that's true. Okay, so let's go with this. And while that's happening, let's see if there's any questions. I can see your feed on X. All right, what is going on here? Why? Let's see here. And there's a lot of like really dumb fuck lifters that hate the. All right, so I'm getting audio and video on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And on I'm getting the same on YouTube. So I don't know what's going on. I hear it on those platforms. I'm not sure why other people are not, but we'll continue. All right, I'd be happy to help you build this workout tracking application. Let me ask some questions to understand exactly what you need. Question one, tech stack. I don't want to surprise me. I have no preference on tech stack. You make the decision based upon the needs. Sublimating. All right, question two, RPE scale definition. You mentioned wanting to a consistent RPE formula. The most common approach in strength training is the reps in reserve. That's new, to me at least. But this is actually very similar to the scale I used in the past. I had looked up before this because I wanted to refamiliarize myself with the RPE formula. And I was seeing RPE formulas that start at like 0 or 1 up to 10. But the one I was using before was 6 through 10. And I think I'd like to continue using that. Basically, if you're on a lift and you can do more than 4, then it's too light for strength training, especially if you're like in your later sets. Let's see here. Classic Borg, no. I'll go with this reps in reserve. I like RIR. Let's use that. Will this application need user authentication accounts so multiple people can track your workouts, or is it a single user personal tool where you just want to track your own workouts without login? I mean, we'll keep it simple for now. If I need to, we'll add login later. For now, we won't have off. And that'll be an interesting, if we get to it. So a debate, not a debate, something we discussed briefly within Dockyard. I think it was actually a link out to either a blog post or a tweet where someone was discussing the value of agile development with Honestly, I don't think it has much value. The whole point of Agile was to stop making the software developer's life a living hell. When Waterfall came over, when you're getting waterfall requirements and then inevitably the scope changes and just blows everything up. Whereas Agile is a methodology that allows teams to respond to, absorb, and hopefully implement scope changes as they come. And that's a very like generic definition of Agile. But I'd even say that the way that most teams implemented Agile was really more of the waterfall way because that's just the way people tend to think. And they weren't really doing Agile development properly. Some people think that doing Agile development means doing test driven development. That's not true. It's really more of it's a tool for project managers to manage teams better and to hopefully not make your software developers hate their job. But with a coding agent in a model, I mean, you're only one prompt away from completely refactoring your application and to like change significant features. And so, if we go without authentication right now, presumably there won't be a profile, and it's not set up for multiple users, multiple account usage. So in the future, if we decide to implement authentication, and maybe we'll use something like WorkOS, see if we can integrate that in, we'll have to have the agent completely refactor the application for that. Be really curious to see how that goes. All right, predefined list, a fixed set of common lifts, squat, bench press, deadlift, overhead press, etc., that you select from, freeform entry. What I would like, and this is pushing it a little bit, we'll see how it does with it, but I'd like it to have an initial freeform entry where I provide a lift, and now that lift is in a predefined list, right? And so in the future, if I go to enter in that lift again, it'll autocomplete for me. Or if I am doing a new lift that's not there, I can add it. So let's say that. I want a free form entry for a given lift, but if I do that lift again, it should, search on partial entry for autocomplete. Question 8, weight units. I'm going with pounds because that's what I got. I mean, the way to really do it properly is you normalize on kilograms internally, and then, based upon your internationalization rules, you just have it convert whatever. When you log a workout, do you want to log each set individually? Yes. Yes, each set. With sessions, you start a workout, maybe with a date name, add multiple exercises instead of two, then finish. You can later. Oh, wait, I read the wrong book. Got it. Individual set logging for full detail. Question 7, workout organization. Should sets be grouped into workout sessions? For example, with sessions, you start a workout, maybe with a date time, add multiple exercises and sets to it, then finish. You can later view Monday's workout as a whole. Flat entries. You log sets with timestamps, no explicit grouping. You'd see a chronological list of all sets. I'm not understanding the flat entry. I guess the flat entry doesn't really care about when they were done. A session approach helps you. Yeah, I mean, I think that's more what I want. Flambeing. It's about flambeing. All right, so question 8, history and viewing. For V1, what do you need for viewing past data? Just a list of past sessions. See your workout history, tap to view details of each session. Basic stats include, here's what I'd like. When I am repeating an exercise. So if I am doing bench press twice a week, and that's what I was doing before. I do like bench press on Monday, Wednesday, squat on Wednesday, Friday, and then deadlift on Monday, Friday. I think that's what it was. It was something like that. Like it may have rotated around, but each lift was twice a week. Actually, when I was going to 1,000 pounds, I was doing 4 days a week, and then after I dropped it down to 3. Anyway, what I want is I would like when I enter in a bench. If I say I'm doing bench right now, I say I'm doing bench. I wanted to enter in what I did previously as the initial, like, or maybe it should show me what I did previously. Yeah, let's do that. Say when I am starting an exercise and I pre-fill in the lift type, I want to see what I did last time, so I know where I should start from. It should not pre-fill in the reps, sets, RPEs, but just display the previous the previous lifting data for reference. Oh, it's glazing me. Smart. Show the previous data for reference without pre-filling. Gives you context to decide where to start. Question 9, session history view. Beyond that in-context reference, do you want to be able to browse past sessions? For example, a history screen where you can see journey 12, leg day, and tap into it to see what you did. Is that what I just said? Beyond that in-context reference, Julius. Oh, like a regular log. Yes. Yes, we want an historical log and data visualization over time to see progress for each lift, then total weight. You want historical views and progress visualization. Let me clarify this. Question 10, progress metrics. When you say total weight for progress tracking, do you mean weight plus reps? No. I want to see the so eventually I think there's a calculation that exists, like based upon, this is really racking my brain right now. It's like based upon your reps and I guess the total weight like pushed. I mean, it doesn't need to be that precise. We can just come up with like a fun metric. I want to see total weight for an exercise lifted per session. So sets times reps times weight. It's like a completely useless metric, but I think sometimes seeing like, oh, I just pushed 1,000 pounds this day might be kind of interesting. Who knows? Got it. Total volume per exercise per session. Volume is a better word. Displayed over time. Visualization style for the progress charts. Are you thinking line chart, bar chart, simple? You know what? I don't really care. Surprise me. Make it awesome. All right. Question 12, mobile experience. For mobile, what's your priority? Smooth animations, offline support. I don't care about offline support. Feels like a real app. Quick access, primarily. Excuse me. Um, I mean, sure, yeah. All that stuff is fine. Um, no. Okay. We want an actual native application, not a PWA. True native app, not PWA, mobile platforms. I'll just say just iOS for now. Future Android plans, do you anticipate ending? Uncertain. I don't have an Android device. Probably should for what I'm building otherwise, but just don't. I mean, I have the simulator, but given the uncertainty, I'll recommend a cross-platform approach that keeps Android. That's fine. Offline support. I don't care about offline support, but if there is no network available, it should show a graceful offline view. No offline data entry, but a friendly your offline message. Question 16, web app purpose. For the web version, should it have the same functionality as the mobile app? I think mobile will just be for data entry. Mobile will be just for data entry. That's one of my real gripes about PWAs and is you try to fit the same feature set into a completely different form factor, and it never works well. Blah blah blah. No, we still will want to support data entry on the web too. Whirlpool. Where do they come up with these? Got it. So mobile, iOS, focus on data entry, web full experience. Yes. Question 16, session management. When logging a workout session, how do you want to handle it? Explicit, start, end, tap, workout. Yeah, implicit. I'm not gonna have a workout last multiple days. Editing and deleting. Should users be able to edit a logged set, delete a set or entire session? Uh, yeah, you can edit. Support editing. Does that include deletion as well, or just just modify? If we need to add deletion, we'll add it. Question 19, deployment and hosting. Okay, so we are not going to deploy or host for now. We're going to run the server locally and access it locally on my website. This is turning into an hour of just planning. That simplifies things significantly. Local server, blah, blah, blah. Question 20, design preferences. Any preferences for the look and feel? Minimal clean, dark mode. I like dark mode. I want striking and modern visuals. Clean design and well thought out information. The thing I really love about like building applications like this is that for years this is how I talk to designers and they hate it. And now I can just talk to the agent this way, like make it pop. We had a head of design at Docker for a number of years, and that was his pet peeve was when a client would tell him like make it pop or make it shiny, whatever type of like word that they used that was a generic like make it better term, and he wasn't getting specifically what they want. But the thing that I think a lot of designers don't understand is that most people, they don't know what they want until they see it in a design sometimes. Like they have a response to seeing it. They don't have a good sense in their head on what it is. And so that's really up to the designer and their skill to try to coach and interview the client or the stakeholder in order to get that information out. And that's a difficult skill to develop. Um, Dark mode striking. Okay, app name. It's Buff. I chose Buff because I've been watching Fallout season two, and I think there's a new episode today or maybe tonight. But episode three is it now that came out last week? I won't spoil it, but they introduced the the uh, I mean, there's drugs. The drugs that are in the Fallout game in order to buff your stats, right? So I chose it for that reason. Okay, I think I have everything I need. Let me summarize what I've gathered and then present my implementation plan, summary of requirements, app, buff workout tracking app, platforms, that's fine, backend, local server, auth, none for V1, date entry, lift type, freeform with autocomplete, weights, pounds, reps, session implicit grouping by date. This all looks good to me. Let me design the implementation plan for Buff. Okay, so it's still doing it. Okay, so now it's thinking. So I'm wondering if I should at least try to set up. And this is going to be weird. I don't even know if people are still watching. Let me see. Probably not. There might be one person watching. Okay, so for the one person watching, I'm going to probably start with bench press. And I'm going to spare everybody the audio of of me exerting myself because that's just not going to be fun for anyone. Um, let's do. Oh, it shows Vite. Interesting. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go back up and read this. Where did it start? Oh, they're still doing it. You know what? This does the same. Cloud Code does the same goddamn annoying thing that OpenCode does, which is if I am scrolled back in the buffer and it's continuing to write to that buffer, it will snap me to different positions. I can't just stay right here. It'll snap me down, 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 and I find that really annoying. Okay, so here's the whole implementation plan. All right. So let's see here. Buff workout tracking app implementation plan overview. Workout tracking application from iOS. We enroll that over time. Node.js with TypeScript framework. Fastify. I don't even know what the hell Fastify is. What is Fastify? What? Okay. How to go for a lower external web framework for Node.js. All right. Never heard of this before. That's how it's trusted by these four companies. Become a sponsor of Fastify. 35,000 stars on GitHub for JavaScript framework is kind of like having 5 stars for like an Elixir framework. This, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass here, but we'll roll with it. We'll see how it goes. I'm not familiar with this at all. Um, all right. Great. Sure. All that stuff. We're going to say yes, auto accept edits. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mute my audio while I am doing express alternate. Okay. Hey, Foy. All right. Did that work? I think it worked. keep checking back with this. Still rolling. All right, I'll check in. I just did 3 sets, just bar, and I have an Olympic bar, so it's 45 pounds. Then I did 135 for 3, 185 for 3. 185, if I had to give it an RPE, probably a 6. I could have done 4. Um, but now I'm at 205, and I am going to see how that goes. So when I did the 1,000 pounds, as a matter of comparison, my 1 rep max on bench, I think, was 275. Considering how long I worked out for, I'm actually happy with hitting 185 like that. But let's see how this goes. All right. I think I will stop there on the bench. That's 205. I did 2 reps. Could have probably done 3. A couple things I should probably demonstrate. This is actually my son's bar over here. I can show it with this. But so when you're doing bench, especially for someone that's tall like me, I'll bring this down a little bit. What a lot of people end up doing is they'll bring their arms out like this. So my elbows are out here like that. You're gonna screw up your shoulders. And so what you want to do, you keep your shoulders tucked in like this. It actually makes it a little bit more difficult, but it keeps your range of motion properly for your shoulders. So you got a lot of small muscles in your shoulders, and you're gonna wreck them. Another thing too is I use the inner. There's little. I don't know if you can see it on this, but so on the bar, you have this texture called knurling, and you have a ring in the knurling. It's just like a guide, so you put your fingers there. I use the inner ones, even though I have pretty wide shoulders. And then finally, what I also do is to help engage with keeping my elbows in. You're not going to be able to do this, but you kind of put some it's almost like you're trying to bend the bar in half like this. And you can see that if I try to push that, you see my elbows going in. And so it's just some engagement to actually help with keeping proper form. Another thing too is when you're unloading a bar, an Olympic bar, because they're all the same length, the Olympic bars are, you can safely keep two 45 plates, so 90 pounds on one side. And when you start going above 90 pounds, that's where you get the chance of flipping. I've seen it happen in the gym before. You got somebody that is either not paying attention, they don't know what they're doing, and they will have too much weight on one side. They unload one side, and the bar just goes like whoosh, over. Nobody got hurt when I saw it, but I know I've heard stories. It's not good. All right, let's check in and see how the app is going. All right, so what's it doing? I don't know this framework at all. I actually don't know really. I mean, I've heard of Express, but I don't know Express at all. So, looks like it's doing React Native now. All right, so let it keep going. All right, so next I'm gonna do my least favorite workout, which is a squat. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, see if the angle is good or not. But this bench right here is pretty heavy. You really shouldn't be, I mean, doing any workout's better than no workout. But if you're buying stuff for your house, you really can't compromise on quality. And when it comes to workout equipment, the heavier shit is typically better, especially on the bench itself. You don't want a bench that has like slop in it. So like if it has any play and you're on it, that play, and you got weight above you, you don't want like one adjustment kind of pushing off to the side versus the other. You really need something solid. All right, so bar squat. I don't know how cringy this is I'm gonna keep saying that because I feel like it's kind of stupid now that I'm doing it, but fuck it, we're doing it. All right, so I'll show it from behind first, where I load up the bar on myself. So again, and this isn't how I will lift from inside the cage when I'm actually doing it, but I use the inner rings. I'll throw myself under the bar, and usually just like right here. A high bar squat is up here. A low bar squat is down here. And so that may seem like a small difference, but if you were to put your shoulder up, you can kind of feel like a little bit of a shelf there, and that's where the bar sits. And what you really want to avoid is a situation where you go too low, because what can end up happening is the bar, gravity will take over. The bar will start rolling off your back. You know, your wrists don't have the strength to really hold that. Your wrists really, the holding the bar, I'd say like a really well balanced bar, someone that's a professional lifter probably doesn't, they're not gonna do this like on the top lifts, but they can balance the bar and squat without holding onto it. It's really just there to prevent the rolling. And one thing that helps with that, if you get up high enough, is something like this. This is chalk, lifting chalk. You can, put it on your back to kind of give it a little bit more friction. Anyway, so let's see what we get here. I bet you my bench is higher than my squat. Let's see, I did 2 at 205. Um, well, let's see how I feel. So I'll go like a little bit wider than hips on this, and try to come down to like right here. I can feel it. My squat form kind of sucks right now. Uh, Another big part of all lifting is breathing. And something that you want to do, hold on, I got to shut up. I got to do this. Sure, whatever, run that. Yes. All right. Um, so you don't want to be like a lot of people when they're starting out, they'll breathe in as they're actually doing the lift. You don't want to do that. So what you want to do is you want to brace. Like you probably hear this a lot in like the core, some of the core. It really is. Like the core of your body is preventing yourself from doing this. Like when it's really stable, it makes a huge difference in lifts like the squat. There's a very strong core. In fact, like really good squatters, they have like some of the highest like core, not a core, even though they may look fat because they got like a lot of weight on them, but they got crazy muscles around their core, and that protects your spine. It protects your abdominal muscles. Your abs are pretty weak in terms of like their strength, but having a core will take the load off the abs. Um, so the kind of breathing for that is wish I could remember the name of it at the moment. Oh, it's called the Valsalva maneuver, which sounds like way more involved than what it actually is. And so you breathe in, you kind of hold it, and the way that I learned it is it kind of feels like you're going to take a crap, right? And that's kind of the push that you're looking for is like holding on right there, and that will expand your core a little bit, but it'll also brace it properly. And that's the bracing you should hold throughout your lift because it's the strongest that your core will be. Do you want to proceed? Yes. I should probably turn on like auto accepts. I don't have that on at the moment. All right. Well, this may beat me on actually on what we're doing here. Am I going to finish lifting, or is the coder going to finish first? Because I'm not shutting up. All right, 135. I should also say too that my squat sucks because I had a knee replacement injury in my early 20s, PCL. You get the ACL, MCL, the PCL in my left knee. Um, I hurt it while doing leg extensions. Um, I'll go into it another time if people are curious, but it required two surgeries, and I have a cadaver PCL in there now, and it's never been right. It's the patella, like the kneecap, doesn't track properly. I have when I get up and weight, I'll put this on just to kind of help with the tracking of the knee, and so it's always been kind of a shitty lift for me. You can already tell I'm going to do better at bench today than squat. All right. Where is it at? I have no idea how far along it is. Oh, is it done? It beat me. All right, let's see here. Buff is ready. React 18. What happened to Fastify? Don't care. All right. I don't even know what PNPM is. PNPM server. What did that do? It's there. Did it start? Oh, wait. Can't ping the port. What am I doing? All right. Well, let's see. PNPM web. Okay. 5173. 517. Whoops. Hey, we got something. All right. So let's. I don't know if I like this. We'll see for now. All right. So I'm going to say bench press. And what I do, I'm not going to count the bar. Bar is just a warm up. I'll say 135. I did it for 3 reps, and that was a RPE 6. Unknown error. Okay. All right. Fucked up on the first try. What did I do that was wrong? Oh, all these. Oh, is the server not running? Uh, PM server. Okay. I type PM server, and nothing happens. Yes. Okay, while that's inferring, I'll try to do my 185. If you're lucky, you may be able to witness me hurting myself on video. Do I want to proceed? Might just fix. No, just find out why PNPM server isn't working and fix it. All right. Okay. I have a squat belt too, but I'm not going to use it for this today. Felt my knee caving in on that. Let's see here. Sure. I'm not going to go above 185 today for my squat either. If my form is dropping, especially on the first day back in the gym in a while, and I'm not going to do stupid stuff. All right. Next is deadlift. Oh, it's done. Let's see. should there be? All right. Run. This is, I guess, part of the downside of picking a stack I'm completely unfamiliar with is I don't know where to step in and tell it to fix. But what I found is if I do a manual Ralph loop, I just keep telling it to do it over and over again, and it'll fix it eventually. Let's see what it does here. Bill is correct. Okay. Where is it? Does it have a database? Like SQLite or something? Where's it storing the data? No idea. I'll ask it in a minute. All right, so deadlift is my strongest lift has always been my strongest lift because I have a big mechanical advantage, being 6'3". Um, so 135, I could probably, I'll be happy if I can do one at 250 today. So that's going to be another set of 45s and then 12 and a half on each side. Let me think for a minute. So, yeah. Can't remember the last time I did a deadlift. All right, so let's see if the camera is. Oops, it's doing. Yes. I don't know if the camera sees this. There we go. Okay, so this is my lifting platform down here. I built it out. If you have a home gym, you're doing deadlifting, you need a platform like this, or you're gonna fuck your floors up. There's just no way around that. Um, I even with these stall mats, these are pretty thick ones that I have on the floor. Otherwise, they're I think a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch thick stall mats. Um, Even with the stall mats, it's like just pure concrete underneath this, like a garage. Dropping weights, which happens in the event of emergency or whatever, an accident, you're gonna fuck your floor up, even with floor mats. So you need this platform here with a couple different layers to absorb the impact. So what's here is I think 2 layers of it's a 2-layer one. Is it? 1, 2, 3. So I have 2 layers of board and then 1 layer of stall mat. And I use it's more just like habit. But when I'm doing deadlifting, I'll use an engagement where I will kick my knees in and to start the lift. This is a very simple lift right here. So I'll, the inside knurl, I'll kind of put my calves right there. That's roughly like shoulder width for me. And then I won't grab out here. There's a whole bunch of people that do like wide grip deadlifts. I'll just grab like thumb length right outside the beginning of the knurl. I'll back it up to my calves. Then I'll do, actually probably today I won't do that, but I'll just kind of lift straight up. So I first engage it. I'll take the slop out. So there's the hole going through your plate. The bar fits through it and there's like a little bit of room. And so you kind of pull up a little bit. You'll hear that, like that noise. That means it's taking the slop out. Then you just stand up See, well, this is done. Hold on. Oh, okay. Progress. A bunch of things. Prisma client. Okay. Again, this is not my world. Back end. Where I've been for like a decade. Well, I am building a browser. Server's now running. Okay. Is it? No. I don't think that command does shit. All right, I'll try it again. Yeah. All right. This is where I start getting pissed at. I go, hey, I tried it again and it didn't fucking work. 43,000. So I have this other one running over here. I should probably tell this to keep moving forward. But that, I have ports being consumed there, but it's like from port 8,000 up. So that shouldn't be an issue. Oh, the server is running. Sure. Swallows the output. Okay, but why does it return back to the prompt? Why is it not blocking? Oops. All right, let's do this while it's blanching or whatever the hell it's doing. I have multiples of these. And it's good for deadlift to kind of keep your weights in a single spot, because otherwise, what will end up happening, I'll show these, the collars. So you can see right here that the weight kind of slid down the bar a bit, and everything in weightlifting is about balance, symmetry, balance. Otherwise, you get hurt. And so, collars are good for that, but at this weight, it's not really necessary. So, I think I might just go right up to 225. And for that, I got this, because I hate loading and unloading the bar otherwise. This is significantly easier. So for 225, I think I will use the collar. All right, let's see where this is at. Sure. And click my ass. Let's see what I'm doing here. $225 for 3. Probably RPE7. So I got 2 and a half, and 10. We'll go up to 250. What? EPI health. Oh, I got spam. Spam viewers. Giving myself a minute or two on the deadlift. Generally, like a wait period of 1 minute is about where you want, but I'm just trying to reset my baselines. All right, 250. I'll go for 2. See how I feel after the first one. It's doing good. Server works. I don't think it fucking works. Hold on, that's no longer flipping out. Okay. 135 for, whoops, that's a lot. 3. Hey, today's workout. What if I do? Okay. Let's see here. Where is the data being stored? BuffDB. Okay, SQLite. All right, so then I did 185, 3, and I think it would have been a 9. I can't remember. I think it would have been a 9. And then I did 205. I did I do 1. I think I did 1. Let's call it maximum effort for today. All right, so now, that's the, all right, so I did squat. I did 135, 3, and that was pretty light. But then at 185, did 3, and it dropped off quickly there for me. And deadlift, I started with 135, 3, that was super light, and I did 225 with 3. That's pretty light. I did 250, 4. I think I actually could have pulled out another 2. So I lifted 4.2 thousand pounds today. All right, so let's Reload that. Cool. It's there. Let's see my history. Click on this. Okay. I got one data point. Total. Oh, I want to break this up. Okay, so the progress chart. Okay. On the progress chart, I'd like to also be able to view by lift type. All right, while that's happening, I'm going to break down the deadlift bar. I wanted to show this. I want to show this. So what I have right now is 90 plus 12 and a half. So that's 105. And then a 45 on one side. So this is actually not as wide as like the bench press here. So it will actually be induced to flipping more quickly. But watch, if I take this 45 off, it just starts rising on its own. Whereas if I, even like a 5-pounder might do it. All right, you guys get how weight works. Just something you have to be careful about, not unloading one side completely when the other side's completely loaded up. Let's see how this is going. Maybe. Oh, reloaded. Cool. Is that what I want? Single left. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. That's cool. Okay, did a max weight one too. Volume. All right. So I think that is a good first try. No idea if anyone's stuck with me on this, but maybe we'll keep adding to it.